Hey, Nutty.
Hey, Alyce.
Hey, lovelies. Oh, so today I'm a little heartbroken about this one. I must admit I knew it on a certain level, but to hear the evidence of it has been hard for me. And that's about the update. So before, I've clarified that all the information that we had on the Sixth Sense and the statistics that we worked with on the Sixth Sense was kind of pre the global event, pre the global
We all know what that
crisis.
global event was.
Right. And so we've been waiting to see the impact. And I must admit, I'm really quite devastated. Again, I knew it. I knew that it was not going to be good. But it's still hard. It's still hard to come to terms with. So let me just give it to you, and we can see where we are. So pre the global event, we were working at about 40 to 60% of the population of Earth having emerged into their sixth sense, 6+ senses. So the scientific stats, if you will, said that 25% of the population was HSP. my favorite label, yeah. But really, if you look at who would be diagnosed, and you look at it's probably about double that, because the people who have grappled with their sixth sense, really embraced it, made it a positive, conquered it, they were probably not being diagnosed and medicated. So 25% really possibly only represents half of who we were. We're probably closer to 50. And then with all the successful people who are sixth sense, we're probably pushing to 6. Okay. And then the global event happened. And we've been waiting after that global event for updated statistics, updated information. Not that it's all 100% reliable, of course, but, we wanted to wait till some research had been done and some official things had happened. And so there was an intervention. There was an intervention with this global event. And I was praying during this global event that my Sixth Sense brothers and sisters would have the fortitude to withstand the pressure of participating in this medical intervention. And a lot of people did. And well done. And really, wow, the courage, the strength. Some people chose to leave their jobs and to give up their lives in their lifestyles and things in order to stay clear of this. But we also know that the pressure was immense and that a lot of people were not able to hold that line. And so now we know, and I'm going to send you all off to a lady called Liz Churchill on X. And she tracks statistics, and she has a podcast, obviously, where she tracks what's coming out of the research community. And so I'm going to read to you some research that came out. It's a clip. It's a quote from one of her clips. He found that the pineal gland had been completely destroyed on all the people who have I can't say that word, I think, yeah? And that's why people have changes in personality. This unfortunately destroys the endocrine system. Okay, so we don't know much about the Sixth Sense because it's been poo-pooed and fringed for a long time. And we know that there are forces in the world that do not want mankind to graduate from 5 to 6 senses. We know all of that. So we don't have a lot of research that people would be able to dissect on how the sixth sense activates, how it works. What we do know is that all human experience, even if it's five senses to begin with, can elevate to six senses. Usually it's through a traumatic event, or if somebody starts meditating, or through prayer. Yeah, that's one of the big triggers of the sixth senses, is regular daily prayer. So we know that five can graduate into sixth sense, and therefore all human beings, all human experiences are potentially sixth sense. We also know that the organ of the body that has the highest frequency is the pineal gland. And if we are understanding that when we receive through our sixth sense, we are receiving higher frequencies. In other words, we are receiving information from beings, people, souls at a higher frequency, and we are transforming those frequencies. We are interpreting those frequencies into the human experience. And so the most likely place of translation, the most likely place of receipt of those frequencies is the pineal gland. So you see the problem. So it seems that if people were sixth sense, living a sixth sense life before this global event, they likely aren't if they participated in a
Global event and the recommended solution.
Yeah, well, it certainly was a solution for someone, and probably more for the people who are really keen for humanity not to evolve, you know. So it's a bit devastating. I'm sad, but we mustn't wallow. There are natural interventions that can absolutely help clear that up, and we know that the body can heal. The body can heal. You know, we receive spirit, body manifests. We can heal. So there's probably a journey on that in there, but there are a lot of natural solutions to cleaning up what the interventions caused. And so I really encourage people to go and find those. I'm devastated for the people who were and then subsequently on. I know what that feels like. Experienced it for all of 10 minutes once in a life, and it was horrifying. So love and wow and compassion for all of those who had one of their senses robbed, or we robbed of one of their senses. So that's a scary thing. Okay, and then the other aspect of this, also, an article by Liz Churchill, that you can find on X, speaks to, so the pineal gland is in the brain, obviously, and then there is another one on the brain damage caused by this intervention, so more generalized brain damage. And so I wanted to draw a correlation for anyone who's looking at the world right now and saying, no, I'm a sixth sense person. Five sense have all seemed a little nuts to me. Not nuts, really. Just not understandable from my frame of reference. What's that? Not all there. Yeah, the five sense to me are a fascination, because I don't know what motivates them. I don't know how they get to the conclusions they get to, or why they do the things. And since the global event, that's gotten more true. That seemed to amplify. Like, I thought the five sense, I know that my capacity to understand the five sense and to really understand what motivates them has been limited. But now I've truly lost the plot. Like, I don't know what these people are on about. And then when I look at this post, if I look at, and I think the original poster was Nicholas Hulsher, MPH. I don't know who that is, but there are, for those who are cynical, there are real scientific research things here, and there are real indies involved.
This is all based on actual real research that was done by various groups of people all over the world. It's not just, I think that, or I was saying that, did you do, and I felt it in the vibration. It's actually scientific people doing scientific studies on this.
Yeah, what they're saying now is they have multiple research studies now that show that the intervention, first thing is we know the potentiality of stroke is much higher, but also there's also brain damage that's been caused. So if the pineal gland's being damaged, then of course that's one form of brain damage, but there's also broader brain damage that's been caused. And so everything ranging from neuropathic safety signal, homicidal tendencies, psychosis, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, cognitive impairment, violent behavior.
And that's just a few of the psychiatric conditions that the brain damage for. That's just, I mean, he just was mentioning it here, but there's something like 89 actual documented psychiatric incidents that you can trace back to the brain damage.
Okay, so folks, here's the comfort point. If you've been looking out at the world and you've never quite understood the normals, and now you feel like you really don't understand the normal, like this is just beyond anything that you could have possibly expected, there is a possible explanation for why we feel like we're living in the zombie apocalypse. I mean, if you have men around you like Natty, they're probably excited at the prospect of living into the zombie apocalypse, and they're quite ready for that. But the truth is that the world is not only feels like it's getting crazier because it is getting crazier because the intervention that was mandated is making people nuts.
More than a feeling, baby. More than a feeling.
So, folks, you are not wrong. It has all gone. It's gone. It's one of my favorite people, Katie Hopkins, who's gone batshit bonkers. And yeah. So don't feel lonely. You're not alone. There are others of us out here that also see it, and we're also looking for the answers. So I thought I'd just share with you one of the explanations that I've come across that really also makes room for a little compassion, because these people might have just been 5 cents before, so you might not have understood them very well. But since this event, they might actually go off the rails. Okay, so there's room here for compassion for people who have been impacted and might act crazy. So all we can do is stay in love, stay grounded in love. Come back to love, people. It's warm here. It's comfy, cozy. So come back to love and find a way to stay grounded in love despite all the crazy. Love always.
Yeah.
Bye.